On the morning of April 3, 2026, Iranian state media announced that their air defense network had successfully intercepted and destroyed a high-value American aircraft over the central province of Khogiluye and Boyar Ahmad. Specifically, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed they had downed a fifth-generation stealth fighter, the F-35 Lightning II. But within hours of the announcement, independent open-source intelligence analysts began dissecting the viral photographs of the wreckage and identified physical signatures that contradicted the official Tehran narrative. The debris featured a distinct red tail flash, warning panels regarding non-magnetic fasteners, and a two-letter tail code, LN. This photograph shows an F-15E Strike Eagle in flight. That tail code confirmed the downed aircraft was not a single-seat stealth jet, but a dual-role strike fighter. While the claim of an F-35 kill was a propaganda fabrication, the confirmed loss of a combat-proven F-15E Strike Eagle marks a sharp increase in the material toll of this air campaign. The serial data on the wreckage traced directly back to the U.S. Air Force's 494th Fighter Squadron. This sign marks the entrance to RAF Lakenheath in the United Kingdom, the permanent home of the 494th, illustrating the logistical reach required to project these assets into the Middle East. In Operation Epic Fury, the Strike Eagle is the primary tool for deep strike missions, tasked with conducting precision ground attacks against heavily defended infrastructure. These specific jets arrived in the Central Command area of operations back in January, serving as the backbone of the U.S. deterrent strategy before the conflict ignited. The loss of a platform specifically hardened for deep penetration indicates that the core elements of the U.S. long-range strike package are now vulnerable within the Iranian interior. As confirmation of the shootdown reached command, focus shifted to a high-stakes combat search and rescue operation launched into Khuzestan province. The risks were immediate. Iranian broadcasts openly offered rewards of 10 billion tomans to any civilians who could assist in capturing the two-man American crew. This is the HH-60 Pavehawk helicopter, the primary platform used by U.S. Air Force pararescuemen for extraction in contested environments. Visual evidence of the operation leaked across social media, showing these helicopters flying at deck level and conducting mid-air refueling with HC-130J tankers directly over Iranian territory. U.S. officials later confirmed the mission was a partial success. One crew member was successfully extracted by American forces and is currently receiving medical evaluation. However, the status of the second crew member remains unknown, and a strict information blackout surrounds the ongoing search. Launching a broad daylight rescue mission deep into Iranian airspace represents a significant tactical gamble, necessitated by the effectiveness of the Iranian defense grid. To understand the weight of this shootdown, we have to look at the broader 35-day timeline of Operation Epic Fury. This chart tracks cumulative U.S. aircraft losses. The air campaign's material cost has exceeded $18 billion. Attrition began March 1st with a friendly fire incident losing 3 F-15Es. On March 12th, a KC-135 tanker crashed in Iraq, marking the first major loss of life. By March 19th, an F-35 stealth fighter was forced into an emergency landing after suffering shrapnel damage from an Iranian surface-to-air missile barrage. This is the E-3 Century AWACS. On March 27th, one of these surveillance assets was destroyed on the ground during a strike in Saudi Arabia, proving that coalition assets are vulnerable even outside active Iranian airspace. Combined with the loss of 16 MQ-9 Reaper drones, the campaign shows a steady degradation of coalition hardware. This timeline proves the U.S. is facing actively contested airspace, where the rapid air superiority assumed in modern doctrine has not been achieved. The F-15E is equipped with sophisticated electronic warfare suites, designed specifically to jam and decoy radar-guided missiles. Yet, on April 3rd, those systems failed to prevent a terminal intercept. Analysts point to the likely culprit for the intercept, the indigenous Iranian Khordad 15 surface-to-air missile system. This photograph shows the Khordad 15 mounted on a heavy military truck, allowing the system to operate with high mobility across varied terrain. At its baseline, the system has a detection range of 150 kilometers against conventional fighters and can track 6 targets simultaneously. This 3D schematic illustrates the core technology, a passive electronically scanned array radar operating in ambush mode. To avoid detection, the battery keeps its primary radar silent, emitting no electronic signature. Instead, the system receives coordinates from external spotters, allowing the main battery to remain invisible until the moment of engagement. The radar powers on at the last second, instantly locking onto the F-15E and firing an interceptor. The moment the missile clears the tube, the launcher unit relocates in a shoot-and-scoop maneuver, abandoning the position before coalition aircraft can return fire. This ambush tactic neutralizes the technological advantages of U.S. strike fighters by turning older radar technology into a highly asymmetric, localized threat. The tactical loss of the F-15E stands in sharp contrast to the strategic reports coming from U.S. Central Command. Coalition forces claim their strikes have successfully dismantled over 330 Iranian ballistic missile launchers, over 70. This image shows Iranian soldiers representing the Revolutionary Guard units operating these defense batteries on the ground. To keep their systems online, these forces rely on a Sino-Iranian technological pipeline, securing replacement parts and critical upgrades through discrete channels. This map details the logistics network sustaining the Khordad 15 batteries, with shipping routes and data lines directly connecting Beijing to Tehran. By moving dual-use commercial technologies through these specific routes, Iran can bypass sanctions and replenish its air defense grid. This technological backbone makes the Iranian integrated air defense system a regenerating threat rather than a static target. The loss of a strike eagle over central Iran confirms that a distributed, foreign-backed defense network can effectively deny the air superiority that Western doctrine assumes as a given.